Have you ever been scared? Afraid that you'll never be able to do what you love ever again? Riding a horse is beyond a path. It's a lecture where you get to apply everything you learn to different aspects of your life. Horsemanship is a rare and unique kind of relationship where hidden senses awaken and allow us to synchronize with a completely different neurological system. There's a speaking species and a silent one, but a different kind of silent. The silent, which is still able to read you from top to bottom and tell what you're feeling. One which grounds the rules and, well, one which may try to oppose them. But most importantly, there's two different minds which respond differently to emotions with the sole purpose of getting to know you. I never thought that riding a horse required so much patience, passion, and thought until I met my current horse, Trasus. I've been riding horses for the past 11 years of my life. The last 4 have been in a constant and passionate manner, doing show jumping. And like any other competitive sport, it's the most generic accomplishments that make you feel like you've improved. Wow, you're jumping so big. Or wait, did I really just beat that unstoppable duo? It's not until a challenging horse enters your life that the most genuine and simple accomplishments mean the most, due to the technicality behind building a bond with a horse. I once heard my dad say that 1/3 of your rides should be excellent, 1/3 should be all right, and 1/3 should be disappointing. Otherwise, what would be the point? You wouldn't be challenging yourselves, and if you don't challenge yourself, there is no road to horsemanship. And I never quite believed this, since every rider and trainer you'll ever meet will tell you that stability and constancy is what a good rider needs. However, I later realized that stability and constancy are earned after horsemanship is built. As dressage champion London Gray once said, "It is the difficult horses that have the most to give you." My first ever horse was named Olivia. She was an Argentinian bred mare. She was tall, skinny, and a sweet mount. I rode her for about a year until she retired at the age of 18 due to arthritis. She was like driving through a free road, with no obstacles in between. I was always happy after riding her, content about it, and never seeming to make mistakes. It didn't matter how hard I squeezed my legs, she would canter, or how bad of a distance I would pull up, she would jump. My current horse, Trussels, however, well, he's taught me the road to horsemanship. And he's definitely the reason why I'm standing right here giving this talk. I can firmly say that we have now bonded, and we can decipher each other in the most genuine and distinct manner. However, this was not always this way. As soon as I first rode him, I knew he was supposed to be mine. I could feel it. Even most would have argued that wasn't true since he was too much of a horse for me. But my parents trusted me, my instinct, and my determined personality that I could make it work. During our first months of partnership, I had quite a dramatic fall. I was in crutches for a month, and after getting my cast removed, it was 2 months where I was scared. I was so scared I could barely trot him. He has always been quite a spooky and sensitive horse, and so being scared on top of a naturally sensitive and emotive animal was like an explosion, and we simply could not work together. I fell a couple more times, got continuously eliminated at shows, cried because of stress, frustration, and anxiety, but something I never felt was regret, since I learned about subjectivity when making decisions. Believing that thinking with your heart rather than your brain is what gives you the motivation to keep going when times get rough. and what gives you the satisfaction once the bumpy road is over. My love for him took over any other thing that could go wrong and gave me the motivation to keep going. I never understood why I had to be the one going through this. Why couldn't I have the same results as every other partnership? And this is when I came in contact with a common terminology inside the equestrian community: feel. Something that only constant dedication and practice allows you to acquire. And this can actually be interpreted on a neurological level. Something I didn't know had to be developed and learned with passion, due to the rough patches it takes to build a bond with an animal which sees you as a threat. Even though he wasn't a horse which would allow me to make mistakes or improve in a literal and stereotypical manner by jumping bigger or moving up categories in the blink of an eye, he was a horse which would teach me to ride by feel. It was not until I rode him a couple more times and realized he had a highly developed proprioceptive system or sensitivity, which I actually saw as a flaw at the time, that I understood that our path to horsemanship was going to be a bumpy road filled with learnings. The proprioceptive system is a sense of body awareness that tells us where our bodies are while we ride horses. This is a system which tells us where we are in space and what our body is doing at that time, as well as the amount of pressure that must be exerted to do a task correctly. And this is exactly what must be done when you ride a horse: to exert an exact amount of pressure with an exact muscle to ask for an aid. This can range from asking to canter, to approaching a jump, and to even asking your horse to go back when you're approaching the second fence in your course. And this must all be done by feel, with the power of no direct vision and the seeking for balance, making sure that both the horses and your center of gravity are aligned. Proprioception is something that both horses and humans have. Both species can have it more or less developed due to nature and the infamous practice of equestrian riding. Those who have it more developed are those who have more experience in the industry, and therefore they have a greater feel of themselves, the horse, and themselves on top of the horse. They can detect when the horse is stiff, if it has pain, if it's balanced, and if it's cantering on the right or wrong lead. When horses have sharp proprioception, it requires their riders to have clear and precise aids, since these horses are those who are more sensitive. And when they're sensitive, they respond quicker to commands, the bit, and the leg. When I had just started riding my current horse Trassus, his proprioception was very developed. He was particularly sensitive, probably above average. And my sense of body awareness, my proprioception, was very poor. But that was normal. I was never introduced to an environment where I was able to learn to ride by feel, and I was never introduced to these type of horses. Therefore, during the first 9 months of our partnership, we were more than a disaster, and we simply couldn't work together, since he didn't understand my aids, and I didn't understand his frustration. And so we couldn't work together, since this created panic in me, which was transmitted to him. By never being introduced to these type of horses, I couldn't learn to ride by feel. It wasn't until I further developed my proprioception by continuously riding and practicing that I could finally feel safe on top of him and develop our horsemanship, as well as the willingness to move up categories in the blink of an eye like I've ever dreamed of, as well as to seek the easiness within riding him by working together instead of against of each other, and accommodating my mount to his style. Genuine accomplishments and comments such as, "Wow, you look so synchronized," or "Wait, you move like one," or "Wow, I can't believe I just mastered the exercise I wasn't able to do a month ago," were those which made me the happiest during our journey, since those were leading me to getting to know him better and build our horsemanship. Those small steps are now the sum and result of our growth and the years that remain as a team. It was not an easy lecture, and the challenging horse was needed. But now that we have seeked stability through horsemanship by feel, we are now the team I ever dreamed of being. Thank you for coming to my talk.